It's a simple question. Why did you say you were going to self-fund? You weren't going to self-fund in the general.
The camera was rolling when Mike Braun arrived at a campaign event this summer.
Yeah, I'll go help, please.
Why?
There to capture the moment, a campaign tracker for the Indiana Democratic Party.
Would you mind leaving?
Yep.
Back up to see the encounter started like this.
Hey, Mike, got a question for you.
Get out.
Sir?
Get out.
Got a question for you. Why did
Get
you
out.
lie
Get
about
out.
self-funding? Why did you
out.
lie about self-funding? Sir, why did you lie about self-funding? Why did you give yourself $1 million?
No matter your interpretation of what you just saw, this confrontation shows the high stakes and oftentimes unseen world of political tracking. Political paparazzi, and the stakes couldn't be higher to capture that moment in Indiana's race for U.S. Senate.
All right, so what's the typical profile of a tracker? Who wants to do something like this?
So a tracker is usually someone just starting out in politics.
Alexandra Smith is executive director of America Rising, a super PAC based out of Washington, the premier opposition research firm for the Republican Party. America Rising's tracker was there when Senator Donnelly launched his re-election and has followed him to public places ever since. By their own account, traveling thousands of miles and showing up at more than 200 events in Indiana alone.
Someone who's looking to really kind of cut their teeth on the campaign trail and to catch Democrats in these exciting moments where they could be used in a campaign ad or they could be used on the news.
The candidates oftentimes ignore and try to avoid. The trackers do whatever it takes to catch up, capturing hours of oftentimes mundane encounters that are sent to and stored in Washington.
Thank you all for being here today.
Their presence is no hidden secret. Behind this press conference at the Indianapolis Public Library, Donnelly's tracker. They all oftentimes engage in a behind-the-scenes back and forth with campaign staff rarely seen by voters. Staffers for any campaign will work to protect their candidate from the glare.
4 kids, 2 sons, 2 daughters.
Mike Braun entered this Indianapolis event with supporters from a back entrance. Out front, not only a few protesters, but one of his trackers, waiting to hopefully capture the candidate arriving. American Bridge is compiling hours of video too. The Washington-based Democratic Super PAC is following the Republican candidate everywhere from fish fries in Warsaw to private fundraisers in D.C. And sometimes the mere video is enough.
Now the Republican Senate nominee is going directly to the swamp.
To help, communication and research teams have been assembled on both sides to assist trackers on the ground.
Candidates understand that, this is the 21st century, it's 2018, this is part of what politics is now.
But in Indiana, tracking has also gone terribly wrong. Like in 2012, when Marion Superior Court Judge Jose Salinas was leaving a state Democratic gathering in Indianapolis, a guy started following him, eventually weaving in and out of traffic along the interstate for 16 miles.
So at this point, Judge Salinas says he was pretty nervous. So he got off the interstate, pulled into this parking lot off of I-65 just to see what the guy would do. The judge says he followed him, actually stopped on this side street, so he was able to get his license.
Police determined the guy was a tracker for the state Republican Party, who thought Judge Salinas was actually Joe Donnelly. This cycle, Indiana Republicans don't have a hired tracker.
Were they this close to you, like from what
Oh, easily this close. Easily this close. And right in my face.
Christina Hale ran for lieutenant governor in 2016 and was followed at length by a tracker.
It's a very strange thing. I had my first tracker at a town hall meeting when I realized, this guy's only taking photos of me, and there were a lot of elected officials and candidates there. And so I asked him, are you a tracker? And he got very, very defensive. And yeah, he was out to get a bad picture of me, which he got.
None of the trackers working in Indiana would talk to us on camera.
Again, I'm not going to answer any questions.
Their work, though, will live on through Election Day and beyond. They also wouldn't reveal all they've captured, and perhaps a sign of suspense for a last-minute October surprise.
All right, so big picture tonight, here's how important Indiana's Senate race is to these groups. America Rising, the Republican super PAC, has 25 full-time trackers on the ground nationwide for the midterms. American Bridge, the Democratic super PAC, has 35 full-time trackers in 28 states. Bob, Indiana, obviously one of the key races under the bright lights tonight.
Well, the fascinating thing is, Matt, is that these candidates know what's going on. This is just part of the price of admission now. How are they reacting to all this?
So the trackers themselves, they're looking for that key moment, right? They're also arguing that, hey, they're looking for inconsistencies in their messaging. We've seen no bombshell clip from Mike Braun or Joe Donnelly, although we've seen a lot of the video and the ads being used. They're simply trying to avoid them at all costs. The campaigns themselves tell us they've had no major issues with their tracker. It's really, as you said, part of life in 2018.
Boy, it's a fascinating inside look. Matt, thank you very much.
Yep.